Okay. Number one, who says they are equivalent? Raise your hand if you think they're equivalent. How many says they're not equivalent? How many don't know and didn't vote? Okay. Why is it equivalent? Why do you say equivalent? Lonnie, I saw your hand first.
If you add 2x from both sides from the 7 plus 5 equals 3 minus 2x.
So she's saying if we add 2x to both sides of that equation, we would get 7 plus 7x equals, these would cancel out, equals 3. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah.
And which property allows us to do that?
Property of
Distraction. Ooh, not subtraction. No, we didn't distribute. It's either, and I was saying it wrong.
Property
Property.
of equality.
Yeah. No, not subtraction.
What is it?
Addition. Addition property of equality is what I want to call it, but I think they have it property equality of something. Addition property of equality, or whatever, however it is in there. Yes, so by doing this addition property, if you have A equals B and you add C to both sides, the same thing, then your other second equation should be equivalent. Any questions about that? Okay. All right, let's go to the next problem. Oh, darn it. Don't look. Look away. Look away. For each pair of equations, determine whether the second equation is a result of a valid operation. So take a minute or two. Don't say it out loud. Is there something I can do to the first one to get to the second? Don't say it out loud. Miss Needy, is this the kind of thing we might see on the test, maybe at the end of this chapter, where I have to determine if they are equivalent equations? Yes. Yes, it might be. Okay, so we need to make sure we are understanding what it is we can add, subtract, multiply, or divide to get to the second equation. Okay, have you had enough time?
Yeah.
Okay, so is there a valid operation I can do to get from the first equation to the second?
No.
People are saying no. Yeah, but I mean, Daniel, what do you think? Personally, I think you should join us in class. Can I do anything to get from the first equation to the second one here? I mean, here I have this on the left-hand side, and now I have this. So what might I do? Huh? Divide by 3. Okay. And so what would it look like? Do I do anything else on the first equation? If you divide by the left side, what do we always have to do on the other side? We should have to divide again, right? So if I do this, this cancels out. I'm left with that. And what is 15 divided by 3? That gives you 5. That is not what we had. So are these equivalent? No, not equivalent. Is that the only way to figure it out? Did you substitute a value in? You solved for x? Okay. You can't do what's in, did you distribute? Okay. Well, the thing is, you need to always look at the directions. So while what you did was okay, Chris and Leia, sorry. I have a Layla in my other prime. What you did was okay, but it specifically says, is it a result of a valid operation? So you should be looking at the directions and doing what they are asking you to do. If you want to do it a different way to check, but you really should be seeing, can I do some operation on it? All right? Okay, let's go to the next one. This says, for each of these equations, determine whether the second equation is a result of valid operation. So same directions. Is the second the result of a valid operation on the first? So what can I do to the first to get the second according to the properties that we have? I'm going to tell you, be careful. Be careful on this. Okay? But see what you can do to get from the first one to the second. From the first one to the second. You don't know? Well, try it. What? Ask yourself, what could I do to get from the first one to the second? What changed from the left-hand side of the first equation to the left-hand side of the second? That's what you want to usually be looking at. You know, I came over here the other day and I was like, oh, I thought it was hair. I was like going like this. I was.
Somebody joined the table.
I know. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I know, right? Okay. All right. Have we had enough time? Okay, 1 more minute. Can I do something to the first equation to get the second? Wait, they want 1 more minute. Or is that you? No, that was her. Sam. Aaliyah. Okay. So, what do we think? Is there something we can do? Leah? What do you think?
I divided by X.
Divide by x.
And I was like, cancel it out.
Okay. What is x squared divided by x?
X.
Yes. So it's x equals 6. So we did go from the one to the other, right? What property does that follow?
See, I'm not. I don't know the property.
Okay, so look up division. Look up division property of equality. But I need you to look it up.
It's not property of equality
Or,
for division.
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where you lose me at.
So I need somebody to read that out loud.
No, the meaning, like.
Yeah, the meaning.
Property of equality for division says that if A equals B, then A/C equals B/C. If you divide the same number to both sides of the equation is still true.
Okay, so it says if you divide a number. If you divide by a number. Now, do we divide by a number?
Is X a number?
X is a variable, okay? It doesn't have to be 1. This is one that I missed too upon looking at it initially, okay? It's a little bit tricky because we want to see if this works for all numbers, essentially. Because if it's a variable, it could and should be able to be all numbers. But look at what your second equation says. Go to blue, please. It says X is equal to 6. It's telling you X is equal to 6. That only works when X is equal to 6. Because if you substitute this in, yes, 6 squared is 36. And 6 times 6 is 36. But what if I had X is equal to 1? 1 squared is 1. Is that equal to 6? So is this going to work for every other number? No. I'm saying yes, this is a tricky one. And so the answer here is they are not equivalent.
So you wrote.
I was wrong.
You put a.
Yeah.
You just figured that out?
No.
Why you let me get my head right there?
No.
You wrote down the division property and you called it. I'm thinking it's right.
I did. You guys, you have to understand. The only way you learn is to figure out how and why you did it wrong. If you think it's division property of equality, it looks good, and that's why I had her read the direction and read the description of it. Yes.
So you said.
Listen.
You said that division property of equality does work
If you're dividing by the same number, but we also, because it's dividing by X, we want this to work for all possible X values, which it does not here. Now, if we had said divided by 2 and divided by 2 and it came out to be, I don't know, whatever, which it's not going to work anyway here. But yes, it can work because that is a property, but not for this particular problem. Okay? The other thing too, when you have X squared, and I know this is going back into your algebra 2, how many answers or solutions would you have for something that is a quadratic? 2, right? Because you're talking about a parabola, right? When you divide by X, you are eliminating or removing one of those solutions, is another way to think of it. And again, here they're also telling you already X is equal to 6, and it can only work and be true for this when X is equal to 6. Okay? So I know that's probably a little bit more than you wanted, but there you go. Yes? Honestly, I don't recall right now. I can look and see, but honestly, I don't recall. I would guess no, because this is a pretty different one. Now, unique is a good word, yes. So for like the rest of these, yes, you could expect to look at these. All right, so the last one for this page. Can I do something to the first equation to get the second? Take a look at it. Find your property to back it up. Are you going to have to write down properties? How can I get from the first equation to the second? Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. What are you eating? What is that? Oh. What? I didn't say they're nasty. Oh. Like that? Huh? Not right now. passing period. All right. So number 4, is there anything I can do to the first equation to get the second?
Yeah.
What? Divide? Somebody say divide?
Yeah.
What am I dividing by? I don't think we're dividing. Multiplying? What are we multiplying by? X minus 5. So let's see, if I multiply by x minus 5 over on this side, I have to multiply by x minus 5 on this side. These would cancel out, and I'm left with 1 equals 10 times the quantity x minus 5. Are those the same? Yes, but the last one was the same too. What property says I can do this? It's not distributive. We didn't distribute. The Mistiti property. Yeah, let's just make up our own, right? The multiplication property of equality, or whatever they call it in there.
Property of equality for multiplication.
Yes,
Multiplication.
it's the same thing. Multiplication property of equality, or the property quality of multiplication.
You started doing this last time. Is it right?
Multiplication property of equality.
It's correct, right? It's correct, right?
I don't know, is it? You guys are going to start questioning all your answers now, aren't you? Is it right?
Is it?
Yes, it is right. It is not a quadratic, so we don't have 2 different things to look at here. You can go. So that's the only one. Okay? Any questions about these? Any questions at all?
Yeah, can you wait? Let me write that down.
We gotta memorize the property.
No. It's not about that. It's just knowing what you can do and that it has to be a number. A number. Which, when you look at this is a variable term that we're multiplying by, but it wasn't squared dividing by one of the answers. If that makes any sense. All right. So that is all I have for today. Let me turn your attention over to the left-hand side of the board. Those 5 we said 2 weeks ago need to be completed by this Friday. Even if you did not take the test, you need to complete those 5 by this Friday. If you have them done and you're happy with your grade, that's fine. I don't want to have to keep going back to these like 3 months later and grading them, okay? Does everybody understand? And you don't want to have to go back and try to remember it either. So just get it done this week. We are beyond that chapter now. You've already taken your test. Okay? Also, just a reminder, I will be here tomorrow after school for an hour. If you want to do a retest, you need to make corrections first, which we can do now. And then you can, if you can stay after, we could test tomorrow after school or during 5th period, or I do have 6th period prep. So you could come in during prep if that works for your schedule. Okay? All right. I am sorry I did not have enough educational material for today. I know I am depriving you of your education. So I'll try not to let that happen too often in the future, okay? Yes.
Still taking these.